right, that should hopefully be started now. Not something I messed with before. I had to ask Gonzo about all this.
Yeah, Gonzo's a good guy.
Yeah. All right. Let me see if I can see that's running. All right. Looks like it is in the corner. Looks like we got someone in there.
This is my second podcast so far.
Yeah, this is also my second. All right. Well, I guess welcome in whoever's here. And it's just a lot. I was trying to do a lot of research over all this stuff because I never used it before, apart from doing it here for you guys. Hey, welcome in, Ghastly Grabs and TNT Golem. All right, now let's get this actually started.
All right, let's go.
All right, hello everybody. My name is Tate Buckster here from the TCG-Verse, and today I have with me my friend Bustmanco TCG, otherwise known as Paul.
How we doing today, TCG-Verse?
All right, I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing very well, Had a long day of work and getting some schoolwork finished up for my master's degree, and got to go play some Pokemon tonight with my friends. So Thursday nights are usually our casual league night. So I get to help teach the kids play Pokemon, and we have a little bit of a competitive base there too. So I get to scratch that competitive itch as well. So whenever I feel froggy to go play competitively, so Thursday's like my main night to go play, and then I try to do it like one day on the weekend too. So
yeah, sounds like a fun time, and sounds like you're definitely keeping yourself busy.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, I'm sure if you all came in here today, you either just saw I was live and decided to check it in, or saw the title of today's live stream, where we'll be talking about the Pokemon TCG and how you can play it, and yeah, that pretty much summarizes all up. All right. Well, I guess probably should start with the basics, but first say hi to everyone else, I guess. Hello, welcome in Nightfall Songbird and TNT Golem again. All right. So, obviously, I don't know if you want to start or if you want me to start.
Just introducing ourselves, or we already technically did that.
Yeah, I guess we technically did.
Yeah. Well, I'm more about myself. I'm a competitive TCG Pokemon player. I've been playing since 2017. I played in 3 different regionals this past year. I played in Columbus. Well, I played in Charlotte, North Carolina, Orlando, which is close to me, and Dallas, Texas. And I also played in the NAIC North America International Championship a couple weeks ago. I ended up going 3 wins, 3 losses, 3 ties, and I placed 766th place out of 1,900 players. So not bad for a scrub like myself. Well, I consider myself one still, just working my way up the ladder.
Yeah, I can understand that. And as for me, I haven't competed in anything massive. I've done a local tournament here and there, and trying to learn it the best I can, but I at least have a basic knowledge going into it of how things work. The Mickey is going to eat the cards. Oh no. All right, so let me start off with a good starting subject, which would be all right. So when it comes to the basics of the Pokemon TCG, there's been a lot of different changes throughout the years when it comes to it all. Obviously, there's things like, obviously with age, different cards get phased in, phased out. Like here, finding in my pattern here is like a Lampet from 2012.
Oh,
so that obviously would not be legal.
A little before my time, so.
But nowadays, with the newest sets being Scarlet and Violet, I know they have a new mark on them for the competitively viable cards. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, it's like of course like the borders like they went from yellow borders to the silver borders now. Whenever I first started playing, like EXs were originally rotated out into the GXs, and then it translated to like the V and V stars, then the V maxes, and now we're back on EXs again. So
Okay. Okay, don't know what that was. Don't need to highlight anything. There we go. I don't know. Oh, there we go. It was like hovering over that, made it weird color. Yeah, I just was. Yeah, I found. Yeah, obviously you got the GX markers from back in the day.
oh yeah, those are fun.
And then the new V Star cards that you get in those packs with the black backs and whatnot. I don't think I have any old EX stuff on me.
There's like Volcanion EX because I played that deck briefly before it rotated out. So Volcanion EX. So there, it's like you didn't have like a EX ability, like like how you had like the GX attack and the V Star thing. So yeah, EXs are basically they're pretty much the same as they were before. They have an ability. So.
One sec.
Sure.
I was live streaming. I'm live streaming. Sorry.
You're good.
They're like, "Hey, can you take the dog out?" I'm like, Okay. So, Adriana Salvador says, "Hey guys, can't stay on, but liked, have fun, and I'll watch the replay later. Thank you very much." Let's. I guess this is probably a question I didn't ask you to prepare for beforehand, but it's, I guess, not too complicated. What decks do you preferably like to run nowadays?
Yeah, like nowadays, like I prefer I like decks that can, just punch hard, like Lugia V Star. I played that deck since the rotation started, so I played it like in all the major tournaments I've played in. Like for NAIC, I did play Lugia V Star, and I also like to play another deck, Arceus, Duraludon, and Umbreon. And the other deck I've been tinkering with, I'm probably going to play in tomorrow's challenge, is going to be Gardevoir EX.
Okay, so a lot of variety there.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like my style is very aggressive, but I'm trying to figure other ways to play too. So I can figure out because like when you figure out other ways to play, you can tend to learn how your opponent thinks and play around that. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Obviously, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, that I play with Gonzo and kept losing to the Lost Box deck. I told him, I was like, "Well, that's something you gotta look out for then."
Yeah, it's like I don't have the attention span for Lost Box. I've won a couple of local events with it, but it's just like with like setting up math and all that stuff with the Sableye doing uh, the the attack where you spread 12 damage counters anywhere you want after you have 10 cards in the lost zone. Lost
Yeah.
Mine, that's what the name of the attack was.
Yeah, it was funny because I was playing it, and the main thing I could think of was Mystic Mine from Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm like, I don't need any reminders of that.
Yeah, I played Yu-Gi-Oh for like 8 years back from 2002 to 2010, and I got my invite to nationals in 2005. So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. When it comes to a lot of my personal friends, they don't play a whole lot of the Pokemon TCG. So I usually just occasional people I come across or the online stuff I get to play, but they play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh instead of that stuff. So I'm around it a lot more as well.
Yeah, I do play like GOAT format Yu-Gi-Oh, which was 2005 format. So that's the only other card game I play just besides Pokemon. So
yeah, my friends will beat me every time. I I started when I started, and then I haven't made really a new deck since. Not the best strategy.
It's like you just take it, like you take every experience, like each day and stuff, and you just get better the more you practice and the more you build decks and stuff like that, like, watching different YouTube channels like of the top players and stuff. So
Hmm. And I saw that on your channel you had a bunch of different videos regarding different decks, correct?
yeah, well, I'm not the best YouTuber. I did make a video before NAIC, like like on the Lugia deck that I built. I
Hmm.
changed it up a little bit because that video that I did make, it's a good deck, but it bricked in certain situations. So I
Ah,
just wanted to have maximum consistency for the whole tournament. So I changed some cards around instead of being cute with it. Just direct consistency. So
yeah, I can understand that. And for any of you people in chat who doesn't know what it means to brick, in Pokemon it's technically called a mulligan, where you have, or well, I mean, a brick can be in any scenario, but especially if you're starting a battle and you have a mulligan, then that means that you didn't get any basic Pokemon to start with because you have to have one in your active play area. And if you don't, your opponent, you have to reshuffle into the deck, draw more cards, and then your opponent gets to draw one card of it. Correct?
yeah. For each mulligan, it's one extra card, and after 8 mulligans, they would do something called like a judge shuffle, where the judge would shuffle the deck up because I judge for Pokemon too.
Okay.
I'm waiting to get my recertification, but anyways, back to the addressing that question. They would do like a judge shuffle, which the judge would shuffle your deck, and you would keep flipping cards over until you get a basic. Then that'll be your starting basic Pokemon. Then you'll reshuffle the deck, and you'll draw 6 extra cards. Then set the prizes out, and then play will presume from there.
Okay. Is that something that's like happened to like a decent bit, or is it uncommon?
Um, I mean, like I've seen it a couple of times. Like with like there's like decks with like they only play like they only have like 8 basic Pokemon in the list and a lot of
Hmm.
evolutions and stuff. So it can happen. It's not as common as people think it is.
Yeah, I was like just thinking about it because the occasional times I've mulliganed, it's usually once, maybe twice if you're really unlucky.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I think the most I've mulligan, I've never done 8 times. The most I did was like 5. So
Yeah, but I can definitely understand. Yeah, if you don't have enough, or if you don't have that many basic mons, it can be pretty easy to do this. So,
yeah, so it's like there's like a deck in 2017 called like Lapras GX. It was basically like a quad Lapras list. So and then there was like cards to make Lapras attack and do big damage. So I've seen I've seen like people mulligan 8 times in those types of situations. So
okay, yeah, that I guess that definitely makes sense. Yeah, I feel like I keep somehow repeating what I said. Like my brain isn't spitting out anything new.
you're good.
All right. Well, I guess I'll go to one of the questions I did ask you beforehand.
Sure.
What are some of the most popular decks being played around right now?
Yeah, the most popular decks that you're seeing right now is like in NAIC, which was a couple weeks ago. Um, Basically, Gardevoir and Lost Box was about 50% of the meta. So, and
Okay.
whenever I played against 5 Gardevoir decks and 2 Lost Box decks. So I ended up going 1 win, 0 losses, 1 tie against Lost Box, and then I went 1-3-1.
Whew.
Like all 3 of my losses were to Gardevoir. So and
Okay.
I almost won one of the matches. So I
Hmm.
mean, like it's all about it's like with Gardevoir, you're trading 1 for 2 every time or 1 for 3. So because like
Ah.
you're with the baby Gardevoirs and stuff.
Hmm.
So
So it's a pretty viable deck
yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
and then like Mew VMAX is another like the Fusion Strike Mew with Meloetta and the Fusion Strike Energy package with Elsa Sparkle, And
Okay.
then Chin Pal's another one that's like something that's been seen at the top tables, and Lugia V Star. So go Lugia.
Yeah, no, the last tournament I was at, which I think was like a day before the Scarlet and Violet actually released to the
Mhm.
public. I was playing a Mew V, like Genesect V deck,
Okay, yeah.
and obviously there's a lot of Lost Box decks back then, about the same thing as I've used recently as well, still, but it just even though it's supposedly good against it and there's ways to win with it, I just lost every single game.
Yeah, like yeah, it's like with Lost Box decks, they tech a Drapion V in the deck, and that's like the murderer of Mew. So
Yeah.
because uh, it's like the it has like the I forgot I haven't played Drapion in a list in a while, but because like my attackers can just go through Mewtwo, so but like Drapion dynamic tail ability, I think is what it is, or if it's the attack, but the attack its attack cost one colorless energy each for each single strike, rapid strike, Pokemon and Fusion Strike that are in play.
Oh
So
yeah.
it costs four energy uh for Drapion to attack. So if your opponent got a whole board filled up with Genesect V's and Mews and stuff, then it's attacking for free. So
Yeah, and that's pretty much all that deck runs.
yeah, so yeah, your Genesec's your engine and stuff. So, but if somebody plays like a Path of the Peak or like the new Spiritomb that's out now that shuts off the abilities for both your and your opponent's basic V's, then I mean that just yeah, Mew's going to the Shadow Realm. So
Yeah, I did see that playing in live the other day. I think that Spirit Team you're talking about.
yeah.
Uh, I've used Path to the Peak before, but so I'm familiar. That's the word I'm looking for
Mhm.
with its ability. But yeah, Spirit Team was a new one. Just encountered it randomly, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah, yeah, it's like yeah, that thing is just it's a bad boob. So
yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
and with like the Lugia, like in the Lugia deck, it stops just my Luminion V from pulling a Burnett out to dump the Archeops and stuff. So I play a Squawkabilly EX in the deck, so that's my one of my outs to it. So
okay. Um. All right. Let's see. Looking. All right. Um. And I can't believe I misspelled that in my own rewriting of it, but I'm gonna go with a random question. What would you suggest new players do to improve their skills?
yeah, like when new players to improve their skills, and basically, practice makes perfect. Like you got the TCG live, so getting a bunch of games in, like with like working on the ladder, or if you got friends that you can play with. um Other ways is through coaching. Of course, I'm not a coach yet, but there's like a website called metafy.gg, I want to say. There's
All
like
right.
top Pokemon players from throughout the world. There's some like Tord Reck lives on there, and my old coach, Luke Morsa, his YouTube channel is Cilio's Network. So I'm good friends with him. He's a good coach, and it's like it's good to when you have like a coach, is like somebody that's like a high profile player that understands the game, and they can work with your teaching. Like each person has their own style of how they can be teach how to play the game and stuff. So
Uh-huh.
um, like the coach can help you build decks, and they can help you with your sequencing of like your moves and stuff. So you know how to set up knockouts and damage manipulation, stuff like that. So that's where like coaches add the best value. And other ways you can do it is like watch meta podcasts for like the different regional events that come up. Worlds is coming up soon, so there's going to be a meta discussion like that, and like watch streams of the top like YouTube or like top players for Pokemon like Azul GG and Luke Morse. Um, I want to say Mellow Magikarp. I'm a big fan of his page. Rahul Reddy. I'm friends with him. He's a great player, and also watch the streams of the regional events too. So because Pokemon does live stream the regional events on Twitch and YouTube on their channels.
Okay, yeah. So there you go. a
Yeah.
a lot of different sources available to everybody.
Sure, and I'm happy if anybody has extra questions or like where to look at. I'm happy. I'm sure I could probably point you in the right direction.
Yep, just leave any questions you may have in the chat.
Yeah.
All right. So, I guess we kind of covered this earlier, what would you say some of the biggest changes you've seen over all the years you've played have been?
Some of the biggest changes is I've known since like in regionals pre-COVID, there was like less than 500 players in each event, but since it's like with the pandemic, increased the amount of players playing and stuff. So, like in previous NAIC events, there was like less than 1,500 players, and overall for the whole tournament this past year, there's like 2,300 players in total between junior, seniors, and master division, uh, and plus just like with I feel like the game's slowing down more now with the EXs here, and we're transitioning out of the VMAX era. So
Yeah, that is true, and it's I guess interesting to think about nowadays.
yeah, so
Because I
like
mean, you continue.
no, I'm just saying like I think that's where I've seen most of the changing from. So
Okay, yeah. I mean, obviously with myself, when I guess the first times when I got introduced into actually playing and got interested into learning it back in whatever year that was, 2016 or whatnot. um, Definitely seen a lot of changes. I mean, I never did anything competitive back then, but just learning playing definitely has changed a lot over the years into now when I've started to get more knowledgeable about it, I guess
yeah.
has a good way to put it. You see all these new things, and then you really realize how fast things phase out.
Yeah, well, another thing I can add is there's more resources available too now for learn how to play and stuff because some of like the top decks that are built and stuff are they're like structure decks now that you can buy like at your Walmarts and your Targets or your card stores or your convention centers, and it's very easy to get a competitive deck going, and learning from that, getting the coaching that you need or practicing to pilot it well.
Okay, yeah, that that definitely is one too. um, I know this might be a little bit off topic, but I'm sure you've
Sure.
seen the what's it, the world champion little boxes that they can have for sale with all those like Pokemon stuff at stores, I guess, where they have.
Yeah, like the decks of the top four players or something from the previous year.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can buy it's like you can't use them in like tournaments and stuff because they're not tournament legal cards. They're
Hmm.
basically proxies, so you can use those decks too to practice as well. So
Okay. Yeah, it's like I've seen those around when I've gone to local stores. I thought about picking one up just to see what it was. Thought it was pretty cool,
yeah,
but
they're like what, less than $20, $25, something like that.
yeah, they're pretty. I mean, they're pretty cheap compared to Pokemon cards.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've definitely seen one thing before. It was just something weird that I had from my collection. I think it was like a 2010 World Championship card. That's like, and I didn't even realize what it was from
Oh,
until
cool. If
recently.
it's a
um,
Poke Beach card, you're sitting on some money. So
no, I don't think it is. I don't know. It had something with Piplup on it, but it was a trainer
oh,
card. So I don't know. I'd have to look at it again, but I don't think I
yeah.
have the time to figure out where on earth I put that.
Right.
um. All right. Well, let's move on to another question that I did ask you. Um, what is the best thing for someone to do when building a deck for the first time?
Pretty much, like as I stated above, like it's a two-part answer basically. Basically, if somebody's playing a deck for the first time, like if they like I would say like buy a structure deck, or and because like the structure deck has like a foundation of different cards and stuff. Like it's the starting tool to becoming a good player. Or if you wanted if you're one of those competitive people like I am starting out, it's easy to get into buying like one of the like the excuse me, like the Mew V Max or the Palkia V Star decks that are out. You can just buy a couple of those, and then buy one or two extra cards, and then you have that competitive deck there. And another way you can learn is going to pre-release events for like a new set and stuff. So it's a lot more slower, and you learn, and like you get a 40 card deck and then four extra packs in the kit. And then after you play 3 rounds of round robin Swiss style tournament, then you get three extra packs afterwards too. So I would say pre-releases are, it gives you a taste of what a tournament setting's like, because that's what it's like for the regional events, where it's like you get the set time limit, and then you play your game, and then you get like your record. Say if you win the first round, you're 1-0. In the second round, you'll be paired up with somebody that's also 1-0 as well.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds, I'd say, similar to whatever I did, because I guess that would probably be considered a pre-release
Mhm.
tournament, considering they're now at the time Scarlet and Violet base before it was actually out to the public yet. So,
Mhm.
and even though I didn't win, I somehow ended up with the 2 packs.
Hey, yeah, it's all about having fun in pre-releases, but it's like when it comes to like the big regional tournaments and all that, I always have a serious poker face whenever I'm playing my opponent. So
Yeah. And I definitely feel like at locals, people are pretty kind of usually, it seems
yeah,
like, especially if you're new. Like I was kind of then, they definitely helped me out a little bit.
oh yeah, definitely. Like in your casual leagues, yeah, definitely. But there's
If you're,
still a couple. There's still like in some of the card shops I've played at before and all that. There's some toxic players and stuff that they'll roll sharky all over the place, even though it's just a casual local $5 tournament. So
yeah, but who knows? You
I
get,
ju- I try to avoid those environments. So because I'm a positive person, so I believe
yeah,
in bleeding positivity. Positivity. So.
yeah, well, that's good.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I guess if you are wanting to learn or start to get into that kind of thing, try and be on the lookout. I don't know if you have any local card stores, or somewhat local. Is a good way to put it, I guess, that might host
Mhm.
events. I know of a few in my own area, but they're not really exactly local.
Yeah, and it's like also you can go on Pokemon.com too, and you can like check out like local leagues and stuff, like leagues that are closest to your area. You put in your zip code, and it'll like put up like different card shops that are closest to your area that have Pokemon leagues and tournaments and premier events, all that good stuff. So
Yeah. Um. All right. How can I not continue to fly through everything I've got? All right. So, uh, I guess I'll just ask the question now, and I'll come up with a few more in my head. But
sure.
how would you suggest? How would you tell people to best build counters to other decks in their decks?
Well, it's like it's kind of hard because like everybody, like if you're like net decking and playing the same 60 that somebody used to win a tournament and stuff. It's like they try to have like a deck that's just gonna be consistently throughout the whole thing. And like another way you can do it is through like different text to decks and all that. Like as I mentioned before, Drapion for the Mew matchup. So that could be like a tech for that specific matchup, or like in my like whenever I play Lugia, I had
Mhm.
Tyranitar V that just punches Gardevoir in the face, and then also Mew V Max too.
Okay, yeah.
So
So
I would
yeah,
say simply through techs and stuff. So
yeah, definitely need to. I guess if you're planning on building a deck, and even if it's like, I guess, well, I mean, even if it is like a modern deck that people play, I would suggest looking through a bunch of different cards, paying attention to the meta, what's being played around right
yeah,
now, and then reading through cards. I don't know, look at new releases because Pokemon website usually has those card galleries on them, so you can pull
yeah.
them up even if you don't have them, and you can figure out if there's any good abilities or attacks that would be good for countering certain people.
Yeah. Also, Limitless TCG is an excellent resource to play in online tournaments. There's people all around the world that play in those, and you can get like the deck list from like the tournaments and stuff as well. So
Okay, yeah. Um. So, um. Here we. So, here's another question. Because well, can't even say that I didn't ask you anymore because we're already out of the ones I did ask you.
Mhm.
But what? How would you like? How would you tell somebody how they could prepare? I guess if they were to go and try and um enter like a bigger tournament.
Like a regional type event.
Yeah, like if they were doing
Yeah,
something like that for the first time, how would you
yeah.
tell them prepare for that?
I would. The first thing I would make sure to do is like you want to make sure you're mentally, mentally and mentally ready, because it's going to be at least a 12-hour tournament, like a regional event.
Hmm.
They usually start like at 9 o'clock in the morning, and they end at about 9, 10 o'clock at night. So you always want to make sure that you have like some snacks with you, or like some healthy snacks, and then you don't want to eat too heavy in the morning unless if that's your thing. Like, you don't want to eat too heavy in the morning because like that'll tire you out through the day. I always say bring a water bottle, because you can always have like there's like water stations and all that, and then the food in the concession stands are not cheap. So basically, it's like you'll pay $20 for a chicken strip basket. So it's ridiculous. So, and you got to
Sounds
pay
like.
for the drink too. But I'm just saying, like, just keep in mind of that. Like, bring snacks and stuff, and keep yourself mentally prepared throughout the day. Also, you want to make sure that you re-sleeve your cards too, because if you like there's like dings and bends on your sleeves and all that stuff.
Hmm.
The judges will randomly deck check people throughout the whole tournament, and if they see those markings on your sleeves and stuff, or like there's like bents and creases on the sleeves,
Hmm.
then it could go as low as a warning up to a disqualification from the tournament. So
Oh yeah, I guess it is something good to bring up because I know when I was going into that tournament, I had to change my sleeves because they were clear, so you have to have
yeah,
some like solid back ones, which luckily I was just at a local event, so I just bought a pack of like the like Koraidon sleeves from the
yeah,
UPC
yeah.
that had come out.
And you can use those type of sleeves and regionals too, because it's a Pokemon logo one too. It's like
Hmm.
that you can. It's like you need like solid border, or if it has like a Pokemon design thing, you can use that. You can't use like custom sleeves and all that, because they'll make you re-sleeve it. So
Okay. Looks like TNT Golem in the chat asked, how would one know what cards are legal?
basically, there's like a standard format. So the standard format is I want to say E and up now, and plus there's also like there's like a banned card list, but that's mainly for expanded now. And there's like limited cards you're only allowed to play, like for like radiant Pokemon, like Radiant Greninja, Radiant Charizard, stuff like that. You can only play one Radiant Pokemon in the deck. You can't play one of each, or you can only play one. So um But yeah, but yeah, basically you can play your four ofs of stuff, anything except for like the basic energies you can play. There's people that play like 30 energy in a deck, so
It's half a deck right there.
yeah. Now it's usually like 30 trainers now, and then like the rest is Pokemon and the energies because you need the trainer cards to help do it, get the system going. So
Yeah, depends on the deck. Sometimes I'll have a bunch of
yeah,
energies. Sometimes we'll have 7 or something like
yeah,
that. Obviously, they have the different kinds. I don't know what it's exactly legal anymore, but I know they had the normal energies. They had those like double colorless energies and whatnot.
yeah. Those rotated out a couple years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. So back
Yeah.
in the GX era. So
Okay. And then I know there's certain different energies have different abilities as
yeah,
well when it comes to that. Like they have the what's it, the jet ball energy or something,
the
or
jet
just jet.
energy, yeah, where you attach it to one of your bench Pokemon and it pivots out the Pokemon that's in the active, brings that to the bench. So the Pokemon you attach the jet energy to moves from the bench to the active.
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty useful in certain scenarios. Obviously, from
Oh yeah,
experience trying to use that Cheat and Pow deck, if you have, say, Whale Lord on the bench and you want to get it out, you have the energies on it. You put that on there, it goes out,
mhm,
and then you also have the extra energy that gives it the bonus 120.
sure, yeah. Basically, that it's a great energy card to help pivot out like a four retreat Pokemon. So it's like Baxcalibur, like plays it like say if you have Baxcalibur, you're allowed to attach the four energy to the ability. Then you have to pivot it out, and then you have to figure out a way to get those energies back into your hand. So that's why Jet Energy is definitely a good one. I play it in Lugia, so
Yeah, it's definitely useful. I mean, it makes up if you, I don't know, if you need to switch something out and you can't have like a switch, escape rope, or a few other things, I guess.
mhm.
Oh.
What?
TNT Colin wants to know: can one use a full deck of Bulbasaur cards?
You could in a pre-release because pre-release breaks the four of rule. So
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, 4 of rule pre-release maybe. I don't think you'll make it too far though with no energies.
I've
I
seen
mean,
5 Pikachu's in a pre-release. So
well, I mean, if you don't have any energies in a deck though, it might be hard to attack unless you're planning to win by deck out. But good luck with that.
well, if you have 60 Bulbasaurs in the deck, they're going to take their 6 prizes in 6 turns. So,
Yeah. Especially if they're running any kind of fire deck,
yeah.
or just, well, any deck that can do, I don't know what Bulbasaur has, like 60 HP or something.
If it has 60 HP, then, wait a couple of turns, throw a bunch of cards in the Lost Zone, and Lost Mine them with Sableye.
Oh yeah, that
You,
could work
you
too.
can you can take all 6 prizes in 3 turns. So,
Catch him by surprise. um. Okay. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. When it comes to that, you gotta be careful about what cards are
mhm.
allowed, especially in mounts, or even like you said, if since you can use more at a pre-release, make sure that you have enough to support the extra amount of cards that you put in there.
Exactly. So, yeah, because you're only using 40 card decks and pre-releases and 4 prizes instead of 6, the general 6.
All right. So yeah, Lamau. Okay. I see that kind of what's it called, lingo all the time, and I don't even know what half of it means.
What the lingo I'm using, or
No, just like a lot. Well, some of the modern lingo, just that people use nowadays. I don't get half the time.
yeah.
I've started to learn how to use those, or not use them, but at least read them. If someone sends me a text full of them, it's always weird whenever somebody sends me like a text full of just abbreviations of words. I'm like, I think it's this is what you're saying. um, okay, I think I have I was gonna try and pull out a standard playmat, and I think I got
Sure.
some. I don't know if you got one, but
Yeah, I'll go get mine. Like, I'll show you the one I use. Give me 1 sec.
all right. It's a playmat, all right. All right. We the Grimmick Council will eat all the cardboard. Let's not eat all the cardboard. This cardboard's pretty expensive. All right.
Yeah, I got my playmat right here. This is just from out of my backpack.
Yeah,
this is the one. This is the one I've been using lately.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I became very good friends with Ghastly Grabs over the last few months, and we met at the Collecticon in Orlando, and I'm like we're in the same state too. We're like only like a couple hours from each other, and I love their channel, and they've done a lot for me, and I enjoyed like repping them too. So they're kind of like my little sponsor, kind of because they helped me out with a couple of cards I needed for decks and stuff. So they helped me out a lot. So
yeah, I did see. Oh, yep, there she is in the chat. So that looks familiar. You know, I don't.
Oh. Like this is my this is the deck box I got from the 2023 internationals, like Lugia V-Star and stuff. So
that looks pretty nice.
Yeah.
I have a few paper ones that I've gotten over the years. Most recent one I got was from a Japanese one, so I don't even know. I probably can't even hold that up. That's for more like at home play, nice. I'd say.
I got a V-Star marker that's made out of resin too.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on a team and for Pokemon Team Swan out of Lakeland, Florida, and one of our teammates, Amelia, she made V-Star markers for all of the players on the team too. So
that's pretty nice. I guess another thing is obviously we're talking about the counters earlier with the Sableye and Lost Mine.
Yeah,
I gotta have counters. I mean, I have some real ones somewhere, but we got like pop out ones that come with certain things. Like
I can show you the ones I use too if you want.
All right, might be a bit nicer than these Japanese ones. But just could have probably been a lot more help if I had to sit out beforehand. Honestly, I do not know where I put that stuff.
Yeah, this is my dice bag here.
Oh, it's a trebush.
Yeah, I got it from a friend. He sold it to me for $20. He got it from Japan when he went out to Japan. But anyways, this is my V-Star marker.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, it's like they were able to do 2 different colors. So my 2 favorite colors are blue and green for my favorite football team. So
okay.
Crap. I'll get that. I'll worry about that later. But like the dice that I use to like determine who goes first are like I got one here from when I was judging in Pokemon. Okay. And then my friend, he has his own other podcast too called PCS Podcast. My friend Justin, he gave me these 2 dice here. So you roll to decide who goes first. So, and then I use the TC Evolution dice.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, it's like laser cut. So
yeah, it's all pretty cool looking.
Yeah, I got like the lower ones too, like the 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, then the 70 to 120. So
nice. Like I said, I have my actual stuff somewhere, but where it's at, I don't know. I know we recently moved into a new house, so if for all I know, they could all be in storage somewhere. TNT Golem asks again, who would win? A deck of Venusaurs with necessary power cards, that's a way to put it, or a Rever Room with necessary cards. Now, I know he's more, I guess I'd say, game-minded when it comes to the Pokemon franchise. So, I mean, naturally, in the games that would work, but on the deck side, I'm not sure.
Was that a question to me, or is that just a...
You know, that's just what he said,
Okay.
was who would
Who
win.
would win in a deck of Venusaurs with necessary power cards, or a Room with necessary cards? I honestly couldn't give an answer for that one. Like, well, I've never. Well, Venusaur is not really even like a playable card outside of the Radiant Venusaur or something like that. Or
Oh,
I
from
think,
like Go or whatnot.
yeah, because like, well, it was used like in the Hisuian Arcanine deck, so you would
Okay.
play your card, you would play your hand down to 0, and then when you end your turn, you would use the Venusaur ability to draw till you have 4. So,
All right. And TNT and Golem, since I know you probably don't know a whole lot about Pokemon cards, but I know you have a few. If you look down in the corners of certain cards, it tells you what weaknesses and resistances they have, which certain cards that you would probably think, based on, I guess, game logic from the games, would be weak. There's only one weakness that they can have. So certain ones are weak to types that you wouldn't expect sometimes, I guess, and certain types just don't exist in the card game as well.
yeah.
Like
I'm
what,
trying to pull
fairy?
one up to show it, for example, like Lugia V. It's weak. It has a little lightning bolt in the symbol for the weakness. So, say if like a lightning attack does 100 damage, Lugia is going to take 200 damage due to being weak to lightning. And it's resistant to fighting by 30 damage. So if you have like a fighting Pokemon attack doing 120, it's only going to do 90 due to Lugia's resistance to the fighting.
Yeah, and I think I can't remember what Sheen Pow's like weaknesses off the top of my head.
I think it's
like,
metal.
yeah, I was gonna say I think it's metal or steel or whatever it's called, and
Steel.
both of them.
Well, I call it metal. So
Yeah, and I think on the cards in older generations, when they still put the name of the energy on the card and didn't just
yeah.
say basic icon energy. But yeah, I think that's what it was referred to in the card games, and I know what I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what types don't exist in the card games that exist.
Fairy.
I was like, I know there were at one. I think there was at one point, but then they don't exist competitively anymore.
Yeah, like fairies are out, and then like the dragon energy itself isn't like an energy card no more. There was like a double dragon energy in expanded format, but it's not in standard.
Yeah. What was it? Ghost. That's the Ghost doesn't exist either. I don't think.
Yeah.
Which is weird when they introduce a bunch of types to start the game off with, and a lot of those Pokemon are actually ghosts naturally.
Yeah, ghosts are like psychic type now, so instead of dark or whatever.
Yeah, Fairy used to exist, TNT Golem says. That it did. Poison. Poison. Yeah, I guess that's also right. I don't think poison exists either. Because I think most ghost and poison type Pokemon are psychic.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Well, I guess just move on to, I guess, a few more or regular questions now, I guess,
Sure.
regarding the TCG. So do you enjoy like collecting the cards as well as playing, I guess?
I used to collect a lot when I was younger. Like I started out like 8 years old. I grew up in the flea market business, so my dad would have me unload the van, sell it, set everything up, then hand me like $20, and then I would just go have a ball and spend the whole day at the at one of the spots where the guy sold the Pokemon cards and stuff, and I'd be buying and trading and collecting all day until I went back to help my dad pack up for the rest of the day. So
Man, that seems nice. That $20 would be able to get you a bunch back in the day.
this was back whenever like the base set packs were like $4 a piece. So
Whew.
now it's like you're lucky to pay about I want to say it's like $500 now for a base set pack. So
Yeah, that's not even getting into. I mean, that's just standard base set, not getting into what is it,
first
shadowless or
edition
first
and all that,
edition and
yeah.
whatnot. Yeah. Um.
Yeah, I think like a booster box of the first edition is going for like $80,000 now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's like a nice little start to retirement. So
Yeah. I mean, if you get it done and you sell it right, there you go.
yeah,
You got enough to retire. Um. Yeah, I know. The other day, I was had a family member celebrating a birthday, and they enjoy Pokemon, and I gave us all a $20 budget, so and we went. And I think I was like, okay, I'll pay for tax because I know we're not getting there under tax, and so we all end up with like maybe 2 items.
yeah.
I
I
mean,
like going through. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, it's like I know some packs are like $5, but
Mm,
if you buy anything bigger, it's like 20.
mm. Yeah, I like buying packs at the flea market if I know the person and I know they're not selling the fake Chinese packs or whatever. The like at the little dollar store things at the flea market. Using the art of negotiation. Like, say, if I buy 10 packs, can I get a better deal?
Yeah.
So it's like the art of negotiation is very key, like to getting like good deals and stuff. So
Okay. It's like I was trying to think of things related back to the like that you do with playing the TCG, but I guess that's a lot of the questions that were
mm,
directed to originally.
yeah, yeah. Pokemon's a very self care activity for me. It's a lot of what I do outside of work and school. So
Yeah. So you said you were trying to renew a coaching license. Is that correct for this
a
or
judge,
whatever
a
it's called?
judge.
Or
I gotta
judge
get I gotta get my recertification. So I gotta
research?
take the 10 questions again, and then they got to do the stupid background check again. But no, whatever, they got to do what they got to do.
That's true. Um, yeah. And then you said you helped teach kids how to play it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like I'm like a volunteer staff at my league, Coliseum of Comics. So I help Glenn out, who's the tournament organizer. I help the kids out. I mainly help out on the competitive side of things. But
Hmm.
like if kids are looking for a game and stuff, then like I'll use one of the little starter decks. I don't want to use one of my competitive decks and overwhelm them, and then they're like, "Oh, I don't want to play no more" or something. So
Yeah, I can definitely understand that here and that come from like a kid who's just gets too complicated, they give up sometimes. Unless they're extremely resilient, but then you gotta be lucky.
yeah,
um yeah. I know we were talking earlier about all the different types that exist and don't exist. There's still a bunch,
yeah,
but I think there's like 20 some types that actually exist in the games and whatnot. So it seems like there's still a lot in the card game, but when you actually go back and look at it, not sometimes as much.
right. Yeah, it's like I understand when I'm playing the video game, paying attention to the types and stuff. But it's like with the card game, you don't go that much into detail. You just play your 60 card deck and you just go ham if you can.
Yeah, it's like when it comes to whatever comes, as long as you get your hand correct, you can probably turn the tides of a battle.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. Yeah, and some decks like start out slow and then you just up tempo the second half of the game. So
Yeah, it's definitely yeah. Pokemon trading card version is version of Pokemon is definitely it doesn't really matter what you
Mhm.
start with. Anything could change the tide of a battle, but I think that's also the same with a lot of card games as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I mean, otherwise it'd just be pay to win at that point.
Right.
um, yeah. Okay. So how many like overall events would you say you've been to through of like Pokemon tournament, the bigger tournaments? I guess is
Like
be
the
the correct question.
regionals, I want to say I've been to about 11 regionals in total, and two ICs, international championships. Of course, I didn't, of course, play in like a regional for 3 years due to COVID or the pandemic, so that's unfortunate. But within the last year, I played in 4 events. So I played in, like as I said before, Charlotte, North Carolina, Dallas, and Orlando,
Hmm.
and NAIC. So 4 of the 11 within the last year. So, and I'm hoping to get my master's degree in December. Then after that, my goal is to try to go to one regional a month. So,
All right. I know you talked about master's degree. What would you say are some of your like passions outside of Pokemon?
some of my passions outside of Pokemon are basically I like to. I've lost 23 pounds in the last 2 months now. So, um, I like to work out, walk around the park. Um, I like to sing karaoke. That's something I love to do, and I like driving and like volunteering through my church, um, and I also like to. I enjoy my job. I work for a crisis helpline through 211. So it's an information and referral and crisis helpline. So I've been doing that work for 2 years now. So I got an opportunity like 9 months ago to do what I'm doing exactly here in a better company and work from home and get paid more. So
Hey,
I'm
there
only
you
part
go.
time doing because I'm doing the master's degree too. So, but I love what I do. I get to provide community resources and emotional support to people in a crisis, and I get to be uh, that ear that they can listen that they have somebody to listen to through what they're going through. So it's good to it's like you basically are saving lives too, because like I've had callers that told me that if I didn't talk to you today, I probably would have pulled the trigger.
Yeah, that's it's definitely something big. I know. Something that I've wanted to support. One of my reasons for, I guess, kind of doing this and trying to
Mhm.
work my way up. Besides, the whole Pokemon thing, which is fun and whatnot.
Mhm.
Once I get a bigger following, just wanted to be able to, I think, work through Pokemon to be able to support suicide prevention because that is
Oh,
something
absolutely.
big for me and
Mhm.
well my family. So
Yeah. In
uh,
my previous 211, I worked the suicide, the talk line is what it was called. So in the
mhm.
previous 211 that I was in, I did do that. This time I just do the mental health line, the sexual assault helpline, and all of the information referral lines through the 2 counties I represent.
Yeah, and yeah, I know. If yeah, it feels weird nowadays because it's just like I mean, it's been a few years now since our family dealt with suicide in the family, and it's just
Sorry
it's
for your losses.
yeah, it's still something that it's sometimes hard to think about today, but as, as long as I guess we think of the bright sides of things, sometimes maybe it's for the best
Mm,
when you think of that instead of the negatives.
of course.
Felt like I was about to word that wrong there.
No, you were fine, man.
But yeah, it's just that he yeah, and our family had my uncle who yeah, unfortunately did that. Currently in class, I will watch the replay later. Says Gonzo. um, but yeah, my it was actually my uncle. He was pretty young when it was all happened, but when I was younger, he got me into both Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. I'd say
Oh, cool.
for the most part. So it's hard to like think about it and then not think of him because grew up. He helped me build my first deck for
Oh, cool.
Yu-Gi-Oh and whatnot, and so he'd always challenge us to play it. Um, And then when it came to Pokemon, I can't even remember what it was back in the day. There was this Latios.
GX tag team or
No, it was before that. It was like, I think it was EX because it was like 2016 or whatnot.
yeah, that's the EX, yeah.
Yeah, he had gotten me one of those, and
Oh, cool.
that I think that kind of shut off my whole collecting, my whole collecting of both
Mhm.
different card games. It's just, yeah,
Yeah, I tried playing Magic, but I just can't get the concept of it.
that yeah, that's definitely something else I wanted to try and cover, but I think I'd have to like find someone who knows how to play it and then have them teach me how to play it before I do anything.
Yeah, I got some people I can introduce you to if you ever decide to do that. So I know
Yeah.
people in that community. So
Yeah, I know that was something a bunch of my friends that it seems like they won't go get into Pokemon, but they'll get into everything else. They know how to play Magic the Gathering. They'll teach each other how to play it, and then I'm over here like I got some Magic the Gathering cards. I just have no idea what they do.
yeah, it's like Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh. You gotta spend well over $1,000 just to stay competitive, and then whenever cards rotate out, then you're out that money, and then you gotta reinvest again.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I don't do those kinds of tournaments.
Yeah, with Pokemon, you can get a nice competitive deck and take the whole tournament for less than $200. So,
Yeah, I know. Whew. Yeah, my one of my friends, it's like I sell something online. I don't sell Yu-Gi-Oh cards online, but he knows I have a bunch of them, and so every time I'm around, he's like, "Hey, can I see what Yu-Gi-Oh cards you have? I need to rebuild my deck." I'm like, "Okay," and I think in 1 year alone, he spent like over $100 on
mhm.
like singles from me, so it was ridiculous. And it's not like I even charge much. I'm like, okay, it's like a quarter a card, and then maybe more if it's like a actually rare card.
Yeah.
And half the time he prices it anyways, so it's his own fault. I don't know much about it.
Funny stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely something I would be interested in doing would be trying to go to more bigger events for the Pokemon trading card games. It's just
Yeah.
trying to balance, life and everything else to be able to do those kinds of things. It can be hard sometimes to find time.
Yeah, and they did give a glimpse of like 2024 events. I already got my first event planned out for September 8th through the 10th in the city I was born at in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So
Oh, that's nice.
I'm going I'm going to that event. So
Yeah, for me, that'd still be a bit of a drive, I think. Pennsylvania,
yeah,
Indiana.
it's
Yeah.
a 2-hour flight for me. So
Well, I guess probably wouldn't be too terrible for me.
mhm.
It's not like going to what is it, California or whatnot. Just that's a
Mm.
long drive, and flights are expensive. Gas is expensive.
Whatever you do, don't fly out of Spirit. So
I've heard all about that.
yeah,
Um,
it's yeah, like when I flew out of Spirit for Charlotte, North Carolina, my flight got delayed for 9 hours and got canceled. So I was like, I would have done anything just to get out of that airport in Charlotte. So I ended up spending like $375 just for a one way trip through American Airlines back home. So
Whew, that's a yeah. But who knows nowadays with the price of the
mm,
gas if it'd even be
mm. Yeah, I
if
got
that'd be close.
PTSD from that airline. So
Well, then never do it again.
yeah, never.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I haven't flown like much of anything. And it's funny that you mentioned it. I think like I've only flown think twice now that or three times, not
Hmm.
including the back trips, because I've flown to Florida a few different times just to go with family to go do like I don't know Universal,
Cool.
Disney World and whatnot. And I've gone to South Carolina, but usually we just drive now.
Mm. Next time you're in Florida, come to Tampa. We got great beaches. We got great restaurants. We got a lot of entertainment. So
Definitely will have to.
I'll give you the grand tour.
Yeah, just hoping I can get there before heading into college. It's got a lot of plans on stuff I got slash want to do before I have to
Mhm.
before I have to rethink on how I can plan out my life.
Yeah, definitely. And I will say, I will make a suggestion when it comes to college. Make sure you pick the right one because you always want to make sure that you have a place that you're going to like. I started out in a community college for 3 years part time just to get my core classes out of the way because it was a lot cheaper than taking them at a university. And when you take them at a university, you're going to have like 200 kids or 200 students in the class. Well, whereas like a state college or community college, you're going to have like probably 15 to 20, probably 25 at the most. So
Yeah, that's definitely something I've heard when considering stuff. I have two in mind right now that are well known for what I want to go degree in,
cool.
but at the same time, I've only visited really one of them. The other one's a little farther away,
Mm.
but hopefully get
What do
one.
you,
I think uh,
I
you
gotta say,
can.
what are you getting your degree in?
I'm hoping to get a degree in mechanical engineering.
Oh, that's big money there.
Well, it's just I
You got
had two.
this.
I had two ideas as a kid. I was like, I'll either go. I want to. It's like first I want to be a doctor. I think like most kids do, and then I was like, I can't handle this. This is not something for me. It's definitely not. Can't see people in pain. It does not help me out much.
Yeah. I got a oh I've got two associates and I got a dual bachelor's. Like I got a AA in psychology and AS in human services, and my bachelor's is in sociology with a focus on social work. So
Yeah,
uh,
for
with
some
a
reason I was about to.
counseling degree now.
Oh, that's nice. Get everything, and there you go.
Yeah.
You'll be all. You'll be all. What's the word? Is it decked out to help people?
Yeah, and then I could finally work full time too, and just save up for a nest egg one day. So
Yeah, there you go. Yes, Grab says there's a bunch of great card stores in Florida, I'm assuming. I bet there is. It's probably better than whatever I got here in Indiana. I think where I live, there's one card store, and that's considered local, and then I only know of one other that is somewhat local, and I just haven't been to it before. The only problem is the only times I've ever been to like tournaments and whatnot is when I'm out of state.
yeah.
Because of the only places that just happen to be hosting like local tournaments. I'm like, all right, we're going. Because anywhere near here, they don't. Well, if they could somehow host a tournament in their tiny stores there that you can barely fit two display stands in.
Yeah, there's like a player cap for like those small card shops, like less than 15 players or something. So,
Yeah, definitely doesn't help when you can't have any outdoor space and there's barely any indoor space.
right. Well, I don't recommend playing outdoors. So,
Yeah, if the wind takes anything, that would not be good.
right.
Yeah, but at least I mean, I guess you would at least have the option.
Right.
It's better than not being able to do it at all. um, Well, let me think of a different question. Reel us back into the TCG here.
Sure.
Um, out of the different things nowadays, I know we've got V stars, Vs, V maxes. Then we have the new EXs. What would you say is like your favorite of those things that have come out in recent years?
I would say the V stars, because I like Arceus V star, and like it's like their abilities are broken because like with Arceus V star, the star birth ability, you can just cherry pick any two cards from your deck and put them in your hand, and then that you can use that to help set up, like get your board going. So like with normally like with Arceus V, like Arceus V star, I'll pull
Mhm.
out a double turbo energy, and then like if I'm playing Duraludon VMAX, like I would get the VMAX for Duraludon 2 as like my two cards, then attach the DTE to the RCS, then Trinity Nova for 180, and put 2 metal and a fighting on the Arcea or on the Duraludon VMAX.
Yeah, there's definitely some broken like abilities that those V stars have. I mean, I know Giratina has its Giratina V stars literal V star ability is just hey, you don't have to lose any energies, but you just get to immediately kill the active Pokemon.
Yeah, that I don't like that. It's like that I almost got points at the Charlotte regionals, and I faced that deck last round, and I just got pimp slapped to death.
Yeah, that I mean, and with Giratina V stars, like, hey, I just have a bunch of energies on my other Pokemon. Let me just use those so I can continue to
Yeah.
fire off. What is it like 280
Mm.
damage attacks and get the V star power off? You just instantly kill whatever. I mean, at least it's only a one-time thing, but still, if you like set up something for a long time, they just do that.
It's no fun whenever they it's like when the Garatina players got the Star Requiem ability online, then they boss your Duraludon VMAX up, and then they just KO it and take 3 prizes.
Yeah. Yeah. I was trying to remember last night when I was playing. I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, I know it's in normal cards you get one like or prize card, token card. I
One
almost said token
prizers, yeah.
prize. And then with V stars, I think no, it's two. I was like, which one's three? And was that like the V maxes that
Yeah,
you
the
get?
VMAXs are 3, so
Yeah, it's just like sometimes if that backfires on you and you just have a VMAX out, that's already in a normal match half of the prize cards in their hand, and if they already have a few, that might just be game from one card being
yeah.
destroyed. I think that's what when I was playing with Gonzo last night, he was really banking on me putting V stars out when I was not getting the cards I needed. I'm like, I'm not giving you that many token cards.
Yeah, that yeah, it's like with all these decks these days there's a lot of creativity, and you can really hurt your opponent just if you could just draw the gas and just uh, have it out on them.
Yeah, it definitely can be hard to deal with and
Got
impossible
that
in certain
right.
scenarios. um, yeah. Oh. So, what do you think? I guess this is actually an interesting question. I've seen a lot of people that I've played against. They'll use like the alternate art forms of certain cards and decks and
Hmm.
whatnot. What are your thoughts on using those? Do you just prefer to use like the basic cards, or do you tend to like using those in your deck as well?
Well, it's like if I have like a deck that that I know I'm gonna be playing for the next 2.5 years or so, I'll
Hmm.
bling that up. Like my Lugia deck, I blinged up all my Ultra Balls, the gold ones. I could show you what those look like. And I blinged out like the boss's orders and stuff. So
Ooh, nice.
yeah, these are the Ultra Balls.
Wow.
So yeah, I play 4 of those. I'm still trying to get these blinged out, the double turbo energies. They make those in gold, but I don't feel like paying like $25 a piece right now for them.
Yeah, I know. I was just like thinking, I'm like Lugia. I remember that alternate art Lugia. That's like the most expensive
Yeah,
card from.
and with the single strike package, with the this is the single strike energy. So
Nice.
and but yeah, I got like gold V Guard energies, and let's see here, Ultra Ball, and I got the gold nest balls too. So
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty impressive
mhm.
collection right there. It's. I mean, I know. I originally, yeah, I was working like had said earlier. I was trying to work on a deck online, and with the online stuff, the only problem is either, whew, man, that's a lot of gold.
Yeah, like I'm trying to bling up the Lugia deck, but outside of that, I play like the lowest rarity of version of the cards and stuff. So
Yeah, when it comes to just straight out buying certain cards, it's just not worth it. And that was something I was going to ask you. I was like, do you just sometimes open up packs to try and get cards for your decks, or you do? I'm assuming from what you said about Ghastly, you tend to just buy a lot of singles as well. That's what you need.
I like I buy a lot of singles, but I've been very blessed lately. Whenever with like I save up a bunch of bulk and then I sell it to my card shop, and I get store credit for that, so I get like booster boxes off that. Plus, I have a friend that's a distributor for Pokemon too, so he gives me. Well, I buy booster boxes from him too, so I spend. I'm a pack addict, like as I said, I love cracking packs and stuff. So I
Mhm.
buy at least 2 to 3 booster boxes, and then I'm a sucker for the pre-releases. So I'll drop $200 just like on pre-release kits and stuff.
Man, I wish I could do that.
Well,
For me,
I save up for like 3 months at a time for this. So
yeah. For me, when it comes to it, it's like, oh, finally, after a few months or whatnot, I have
mhm.
$20. Let's let's see what we can afford with that.
Sure.
I know. Yeah, it's like I know with my stuff, I'd like to tend to save cards because I'm pretty big on the whole collecting spectrum. But when it comes to, I know if I ever wanted to make a deck, I definitely have to have the money to make a deck.
Yeah.
So I know right now I probably have a deck that I'm gonna have to completely scrap because I was starting to make that when I had no idea what I was doing. But at least Scarlet and Violet was out, so it's not like it's outdated yet.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I was trying to make something with Meowscarada EX, I think, because I was trying to look at abilities and whatnot.
That's pretty good. And Gardevoir, you can build that whole deck for under $100. So I think it's like probably 60 or 70 if you
Yeah,
just buy all the pieces out to it. So
that can definitely be helpful. And definitely, obviously, most card if you do open up a lot of card packs and you have and you want to like make a deck, obviously, probably obviously got to check through what you have because a lot of the
right.
times it's either the only things you're missing are the hard to get cards, so you probably have a lot of
Mhm.
the commons you need if you open it up enough.
Yeah, like the Chin Pao deck. I cracked a bunch of Paldea Evolved booster boxes. I cracked like 3 of them, and then I have just about everything for Chin Pao, and it's like I pulled the alternate art Chin Pao that was like
Ooh,
worth like $70-$80 at the time. I pulled
nice.
3 of them back to back to back like it's candy in the booster boxes, and luckily I sold them for like I think the first one I sold for like 70 to a friend of mine, and then the other two I was like 50 and 40. So
Oh, that's pretty good.
mhm.
Yeah, I tried to sell a few things on eBay. It's just I've pulled a few different things. I'm just like, if I want to buy new Pokemon cards, I'll sell the big headers because if anything knows the recent cards, it's not like it's going to be expensive to go buy another pack to try and get it again.
Yeah, yeah, it's like whenever I had 4 hyper rare Tapu Leles, I was able to sell them for like $90 a piece before they rotated. So
Nice. I know. It's like I listed a few different things because I had what was it? I pulled a Miriam, that Miraidon alternate art or whatnot, um, and just a few other different cards that I've seen
mhm.
index, and I just tried to list them. And obviously, the Miraidon sold pretty fast, but
I
that's about
sold the
it.
Maridon too. I pulled that one.
I definitely think I sold it a bit late though, because I sold it recently, so prices die all the time.
Yeah, I sold mine for like 70, I think, and it dipped down to like under 30 now. So
Yeah, I sold mine for 32,
yeah,
but include. No, you can go ahead first.
no, I was gonna say like if I pull like alternate arts and stuff, I'm like I'm gonna turn that into cash or turn it into more packs quick. So
Yeah, uh, yeah, but I sold that card. Obviously, you had to buy the tracking label for the shipping, and then I had to buy the stuff to ship the cards because I don't have that kind of stuff, and ended up with a like a $5 deficit. So I'm doing great.
wow.
That's why still waiting to sell the rest because at least I don't have to buy the shipping stuff again. And then my local card shop, they don't buy a whole lot of cards, so it's hard to sell anything local. So it's either friends or online.
Plus, the card shops only want to give you 30 or 40% of what it's worth. So,
Yeah, I know. I tried to. Ooh, I had a bunch of bulk once. It was like over like a few hundred cards of bulk. They're like, I'll give you 14 cents. I'm like, okay. Yeah.
yeah, like at one of the card shops I go to, they buy like $12 per thousand. So,
Whew, yeah. It's hard to sell the cards to them sometimes, unless it's a big hit or something. Then maybe they might be interested in.
yeah. The bulk prices like for commons and uncommons has it cut down to about little less than a third, so or close to a third. So
Yeah. So now I just have it, and you know, now I figure out what I do with it.
yeah, yeah, it's like I had to cash out what I had because I don't have a lot of room in here. So the last time when I went and sold bulk, I got over $200 for everything.
Okay.
I reinvested that into like the NAIC trip. So
Ah. Um. Okay. Apart from like the Pokemon TCG, I know you said you play the games. Is there any other parts of it that you're like interested in game wise and other
for
wise
for Pokemon or in general?
for Pokemon?
Oh, for Pokemon, like I have a Game Boy Advance SP, so I just beat the TCG for the Game Boy for that, and I like playing like Gold version and Crystal and Silver, Red, Blue, Yellow, and I beat Ruby. So I'm kind of
Hmm.
old school when it comes to that. So I'd like to try to pick me up a Gold version again for like a good price, and then try to beat that again because that was my first game that I purchased for like a Game Boy Color to play. So.
Yeah, definitely sounds like a nice selection there. And I feel weird saying this. I think the first game I ever had was Ruby for the Game Boy Advance. But at the same time, I've never beaten Ruby. Well, maybe I beat like an emulated version of it that I had on like my computer, but my actual original version, I think I'm at the eighth gym and that I have not beaten it. um, oh, man, you know, like I said, now that I think about it, that's another thing I can relate back to my uncle. That's actually a pretty funny memory now that I think about it because when he actually lived with us for a short time, but he had a GameCube and then the Game Boy systems and whatnot.
fun
And
fun times there. It looks like
yeah, we just play on the GameCube and play, I don't know, Smash Bros. Melee, or we'd play whatever games he's got. And then um, he had like a bank or whatever you want to call it for where he stored all of his Pokemon on. I think it was Leaf Green.
oh
And so we just if one day I like came in and asked if I could play Ruby and so he's like, okay, here you go, I want you to grind on this route, here's a Mudkip, get it to a Swampert. So I just sat there for like hours and then I got it from a Mudkip to a Swampert on the same route.
we call him Swampy.
Yeah. And then yeah, just got it to the Swampert. He's like, cool. And then he traded over to Leaf Green. He's like, all right, here you go. Game Boy Advance is yours, and you can have Ruby. So that's how I got Ruby. It's just a lot of fun times with the old games.
Yeah, it's nostalgia all over.
I know I have. Oh, wait, did I leave it out? Oh, I do. Let me grab it real quick.
I think on your end it's kind of frozen some. So
All right. Yep. So now I'm back. I have this thing.
see. Yeah, I still see you're frozen on your end. So
Oh, all right. Well,
me
see if it comes back online.
okay.
Let's see.
I don't know if it's like your internet connection or because
I was
like I
gonna
don't
say you're
see
not.
any.
Yeah, I don't see. Gassy says it looks fine, and on my end, that you're moving in as well. So
Oh.
yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Uh,
I know it can be weird like that sometimes. GNT Golem says, I heard you like mudkips. Sorry, I had to. I don't know. I like mudkip.
Mudkips make great pets, so.
One of my, I have to say, my favorite Hoenn starter was Torchic.
Torchic.
It's just something that I always loved and whatnot. Still frozen on your end?
Yep.
Oof. Huh. TT Golem said they can break boulders. Yep, that they can. But basically, what I have was something else I had that you might have seen is it's one of those official game guides, but it's for Pokemon Leaf Green and Fire Red.
Oh, okay, yeah, like the little pamphlet that comes in the game box or whatever, the case.
No, actually, it's a different one. It's one made by like a different company for the
Okay.
game, like telling you, here's where all the locations are. Here's a maps to all the locations. Here's where you get all your hard to catch Pokemon.
Oh, okay, yeah, like the magazine or something that you can check out from a library or something.
Yeah, something like that. It's in
Hmm.
horrible condition, but I think it was somewhere back here. If I look, it's got all the Gen 1, Gen 2 Pokemon. I think it says something about like, here's how you get Mew, and it's like, sorry, you can't get Mew. It's a Japan exclusive. But it's got like all the different cool things, and yeah, I was like back in the day, I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to get Mew, and it's, oh yeah, just found it. This Pokemon is not available in the United States. Like, well, that sucks. I mean, it's not like I'm a few years away from it even being released, anyways. But yeah. Well, and I saw on the one thing you played the TCG Live as well, correct? Or at least have an account.
Yeah, I play. Yeah, I've got the TCG Live too. So
Yeah,
I had to play with like little starter decks until I redeemed all my like over 200 codes that I had. So I was able to cash out like the points and all that, and then build. I got Guardy built, so I might be playing that in that tournament that we're all gonna get involved in.
yeah. I'm just hoping I can make it because I'm waiting for them to give us the date on when it is, so I can even see if I'll be there.
Hmm.
That's always like the hard part. Is like, oh, I want to sign up so you are. I'm like, maybe.
I'm gonna make myself available for it. So
Well, I don't know. It's just it with the summer coming to an end. I know my life gets hectic and busy, so it can be hard to plan out for things.
right, yeah. Well, I'm just trying to graduate with my master's in December. So if I gotta, make some sacrifices for the short term gain, I'm going to. So
Yeah, I'm just hoping for a weekend that we do it. Might
I
be
try to
nice.
enjoy myself on the weekends because it's like I work hard all week and schoolwork and stuff and take care of family. So
Yeah, yeah, that's the only reason I'd hope for be the weekend because I do something all during the week and then I finally have free time on the weekend. So
yeah,
if there's anything I want to do, like if I want to do YouTube pretty much after this week, it's gonna be all either pre-recorded stuff I make or something on the weekend.
there you go.
So I mean that's all I got for my schedule. It's like be ready for the weekend. They're gonna be used up. It's like I think it'll be really fun to compete in because I mean I feel like get to know a few different people and also be an exciting challenge, be something bigger when I'm more prepared and more used to it by now than the only local tournaments I've been to.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably play Guardy because I'm liking that deck, and it's like the only deck I have that can possibly stand a chance. So
Yeah, the deck I was building was a more modernized version of the Lost Box deck, but I was making a few adjustments to account for weaknesses that the deck might encounter.
yeah,
Because I mean, especially after facing Gonzo with the basic deck that the game gives you, I think it might be pretty good since I know how to use it decently well now.
yeah, I'll have to challenge Gonzo on there in the next couple of days because I think we're friends now on live. So
Yeah, I can't remember if I sent you one or not. I might have. I tried to send a bunch out to all the people who
I'm
have put theirs
I'm
in there.
Seahawker 3 on there.
Yeah, I think I saw. Yeah. It's like I know I saw you put it on there. I just couldn't remember if I ever actually did anything about it because, yeah, I know Gonzo. Yeah, he had lived it in the chat or Discord server last night. Was having
Mhm.
people play him to test the deck. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun when especially if it's against people that you kind of know across the internet.
Of course.
It just makes it exciting. That's why I like even though I can't play and I know I can't win when it comes to like Yu-Gi-Oh, it's fun to play with friends because you just have a good time.
Yeah, and that's all it should be about. So
Yeah, until they pull out their random monster that can for some reason do 32,000 damage in 4 different attacks and hit everybody on the four-way duel.
right.
It's just that's why my out of date deck does not do too well in any scenario nowadays.
Yeah, it's like all my cards are like in the 2000 early 2000 era that I own. So
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, mine. I have some new ones. I think it's just because I've opened up like 3 new packs recently, or I've just bought a few individual ones because I made a slightly more modern deck that my friend basically told me how to make.
yeah.
But I just found a structure deck and then I added like 5 cards to it.
Ah, nice.
So I'm like, there we go. It works. It's modern. I can learn something. And that definitely ties in kind of with the Pokemon stuff. I might have to buy some of the like starter decks or just decks you can build upon. And
Yeah, like the Mew VMAX deck, I would recommend probably be one of the best, or Palkia V Star. So
yeah, and it makes me feel stupid now that when I was younger, just go to the store and be like, "Hey, look, there's a deck. I can buy it, and then I can take the one center card from it because I won it."
yeah, and they also got the trainer toolkits too, like the Arceus one. So you get like 4 packs, and then you get like a bunch of staples that are normally in the decks that are competitive. So
Yeah, that's definitely something I was thinking about buying when it came to deck building was getting at least like one trainer toolkit box, maybe a build and battle kit, and I don't know. I know they have those the pre-release box things. I definitely I
mhm.
know those aren't like the greatest sometimes, but I definitely would like to get those because it's pretty cool, especially when they have the stamps on them. I think it'd be something cool to have. But yeah, obviously that stuff's changed over the years. There's multitude of ways. I know with decks now, the boxes look, I think, completely different than the ones that were out a few years ago, even.
Yeah, better quality. So
Yeah, that's just like why I was thinking it was funny I couldn't find any of my paper mats because I've bought a bunch of those pre-made decks over the years, but I have no idea where those went. You always got one of those? I don't know, like a coin, those pop-out counters and
yeah, little
whatnot.
plastic coins or whatever. So
That's why those I even though ETVs can sometimes be really really terrible prices depending on where you shop and when you shop. But I mean, you get those the metal coins and the metal dice or not metal, but not
laser
not
cut.
yeah, just something that's not paper sometimes, and it can be helpful when you want to do that. You get I think it gives you like a pack of a bunch of energies in there, but there's
Yeah,
probably better things that you can get for that as well.
Yeah, most definitely.
Well, yeah. Uh, I don't know if I have any more questions that I can really ask you.
Yeah, is there
So,
anything from the chat or?
if anything the chat wants to know before, I guess we hang it up. It's one way
Yeah,
to
it's
put it.
almost 11:30 p.m. here, almost midnight here. So
Yeah, and I know a lot of the people. Well, one of the people in chat, um, is one of my friends, and they live in the EST time zone as well, so it'd definitely be late for them.
okay, yeah.
So I try to get. Yeah, I'm used to trying to hang it up a little early to make sure I account for everybody. That way, I'm not
Right.
keeping people up too late. But yeah, well, I hope you all have a great rest of your evening. Want to thank you for. Oh, I'm glad to have you to have both of you in the community. Says Ghastly. I really butchered that sentence. Now I feel bad that I proofread and am editing the book me and my friends are working on because that does not show that I'm too good at that.
Mhm.
But yeah. Well, thank you for joining us, Ghastly TNT Golem. I don't know if you're here or not still. And thank you, um, Bustmanco, TCG, Paul, whatever you
No.
want me to call you. Thank you
um,
for joining me. It's
Bustmanco
definitely
is fine. So
yeah. Well, thank you for joining me. It definitely was a lot of fun and gained a lot of knowledge out of this and
uh,
what to
uh,
look into things.
yeah, thank you for having me today, TCG Verse, and yeah, I love podcasting too, and um, it's fun doing these things. So
Yeah,
it's definitely takes a lot of stress off of you. So
yeah. And anyone who's still left there, if you haven't already, for some reason, subscribe to Bestman Co TCG or just check him out on other things. I know he's got Instagram and a few other things.
yeah, I will. I'm probably gonna do and I'm gonna start doing some more videos. I just haven't had the time lately. So
Yeah, that's understandable. I mean, I just got my time now, and I was like, okay, this is where I can fit things in. We'll get
there
it
you go.
done, and we'll get it done out of the way.
Yes, sir.
Well, yep. Thank you all for coming in. And thank you for joining me. And I want to wish you all a great rest of your nights, evenings. It sounds like you're all in the same time zone except for me. So, yeah, fare thee well, and have a great evening. Bye.
Peace.